Emotions, unfortunately for most people, are our great unknowns. While we come into the world prepared to feel and react to stimuli through emotions, we often lack the ease of understanding what is happening within us. Consequently, there may be a sense that there are trapped emotions we may not know how to release presently, or perhaps emotions that couldn't find an outlet in the past. Emotions are reactions that occur in response to an internal or external stimulus, a way in which our bodies maintain balance. In other words, emotions are a mechanism of our body that serves to adapt us to our environment. Their primary function is to ensure our survival and well-being, as each emotion appears in specific situations and carries a unique message we should pay attention to. In this sense, we cannot speak of positive or negative emotions as we have been led to believe. Even though there are pleasant and unpleasant emotions, all of them are adaptive and necessary. However, because we often lack the emotional education needed to understand our emotional world, we may not always have the ability to allow ourselves to feel what we feel, or to express it. We have been taught the opposite, to reject certain emotions and to flee from those deemed negative. The environment has not always supported and validated our emotional state, and as a result, we end up suppressing what we feel. But emotions don't disappear, no matter how much effort we put into suppressing them. Emotions have an important message to convey, and they won't go away until they have been properly processed. When an emotion has been suppressed or not managed, it can become encapsulated, and this is what we call trapped emotions. We can't discuss emotions without considering the body. When we experience an emotion, it elicits changes in our body, like an increased heart rate when we are angry, or a queasy stomach when we feel disgusted. Emotions are felt in the body and expressed through it. However, trapped emotions can exist in the body, not in a literal sense, but because our bodies have memory. They keep track of everything we haven't processed or digested. This is what's known as somatization, the experience of physical symptoms like back tension, headaches, or digestive issues related to emotional or psychological causes, such as anxiety or stress, without a recent or past life situation. Emotions serve as a conduit for expressing and experiencing feelings in our physical bodies. Feelings themselves are not physical entities, but emotions allow us to transport these non-physical sensations into the physical realm, enabling us to feel and express them in our bodies. It is through thought that we express these emotions, both positive and negative. Our thoughts permeate every cell of our being, influencing their strength and vitality. Our cells can perceive whether we feel well or unwell, and based on that perception, they either weaken or strengthen. For example, if you frequently engage in criticizing others, it may reflect an underlying anger within you. Similarly, if you always seek approval from others, it could mean you lack self-esteem or fear rejection, even if you don't realize it. Your subconscious mind stores these thoughts, even ones you are not aware of. When you constantly experience excessive stress, anger, or engage in mocking others, all these accumulated emotions can lead to profound conflicts within yourself. This, in turn, weakens your cells and makes you susceptible to various diseases, ranging from the most minor to the most chronic. Interestingly, emotions also hold the potential to heal diseases completely. Countless cases have demonstrated people with chronic illnesses experiencing remarkable recoveries by transforming their way of thinking and their perspective on life. One reason emotions become trapped is because of intense, severe, or traumatic life experiences that were too overwhelming and impacted our integrity and security. These traumatic experiences and the emotions associated with them couldn't be processed properly, so they became encapsulated or frozen as a protective mechanism against something exceptionally painful. Have you ever felt strong emotions with physical symptoms, but couldn't identify or understand what was happening within you? These undigested emotions remain within. And as we mentioned earlier, emotions don't just disappear. The body registers these unprocessed emotions, creating a backlog of unresolved emotional experiences. This information remains stored in our body as something pending that we need to finish processing. This backlog of unprocessed emotions is akin to a wounded part within us, often referred to as our inner shadow. It consists of trapped energy originating from intensely emotional experiences we once encountered. These trapped emotions often manifest as physical symptoms like muscle tension, contractures, headaches, digestive problems, and fatigue, among others. Many of the physical symptoms we experience are related to emotional causes. So how do we release trapped emotions? Considering that trapped emotions are encapsulated due to a lack of emotional management, the idea is to work on our emotional awareness, reconnect with our bodies, and the information stored within them. This won't always be easy because these emotions may be related to difficult or traumatic episodes in our lives. Furthermore, they may have remained hidden for a long time. We need to develop our emotional awareness, which involves the capacity to recognize, name, understand, and regulate our emotions. It's also important to understand the origin of these trapped emotions. In which situations or moments did these emotions remain unprocessed? We need to take the body into account, because it continually sends us signals or messages that we need to pay attention to. To release trapped emotions, we first need to understand how they are manifesting, whether through physical symptoms or through secondary emotions that emerge as substitutes for the original emotion. For example, if you weren't allowed to express sadness as a child, it may now manifest as anger when you are actually feeling sad. We need to observe our bodies, notice the sensations we experience, and find ways to focus our attention on the body, which can be achieved through meditation, dance, or simply by setting aside moments in the day to pay attention to our bodies. Once we realize which emotions are trapped and why this happened, whether they were invalidated, denied, or we lacked the resources to process them due to a challenging or chaotic situation, it's important to understand the function or message of these emotions. Then, we need to allow these emotions to be expressed or moved. This will depend on the situation and can be done, for instance, by writing a letter to the trapped emotion, heeding its message, or moving it through activities like dancing, yoga, meditation, or other therapeutic practices. So how do we heal trapped emotions? When we talk about healing, we are referring to addressing a wound. Healing trapped emotions is about mending emotional wounds. These emotions are often associated with events in our lives that were painful. Because we couldn't always address these events or memories, they can become persistent. Just like an unhealed wound, emotional wounds may worsen over time. To heal emotional wounds and release trapped emotions, we need a process similar to treating a physical wound. We must understand what caused the wound, how to proceed, clean it, and assist in its healing. One of the most potent methods for liberating trapped emotions is the coherence of the mind and heart. The process involves ushering these emotions into the heart for healing. For love is the purest and most formidable force that possesses the power to mend all wounds. First, we need to become aware of these emotions and the bodily sensations they bring. We must recognize what we are feeling, where it's located in our bodies, and which part is most affected. This process can be facilitated by closing our eyes and exploring our body's physical sensations. Begin by conducting a methodical scan of your body to pinpoint the focal point of the emotion. This step entails identifying the specific area in your body that experiences the most profound effects of this emotional state. This focused observation allows you to gain a clearer understanding of the emotion's physical manifestation and is a vital component of the healing process. Detach from the emotion in the second step. Once you have identified the emotion within your body, Observe how it arises within you, but strive to do so objectively, viewing the process from a broader perspective. This can be challenging, as it requires avoiding entanglement with the emotions and simply observing how they behave. Observe how they move, how they manifest, without entwining your identity with these emotions. Observe how the emotions behave, as if you were watching a natural phenomenon, trying to understand its message, its behavior, functioning, and intricacies. The third step is to embrace these emotions and bodily sensations with love. Avoid feeling bad or guilty for experiencing them. Instead, accept them with love. If you know what triggers these emotions, embrace that as well. This act is akin to a mother's unwavering love for her child, irrespective of their actions or imperfections. She acknowledges that her child is not without flaws, yet her love remains whole and unconditional. Envelop your emotions with the unconditional love, for it is the most potent healing force. Extend this love to your entire self and remain in this state for as long as you feel necessary. Integrate this method into your daily routine, making it a regular practice. Practice these steps consistently, and you will gradually experience the liberating effect it has on your emotional well-being. Over time, it becomes easier to acknowledge, detach from, and embrace your emotions, leading to a healthier and more harmonious relationship with yourself.